Hey everyone, today we are going to be talking about the Canon 10-18 EFS lens. This lens is for Canon APS-C DSLR cameras, but I'm using it on my full-frame Sony A7RV. This is an insane combination. Yes, it's an APS-C lens, but it works perfect on full frame. Let's talk about it. But before we do that, let me talk about what I did to actually mount this onto my full-frame Sony camera. First of all, I changed this mount down here, so if you take a look, it is now a metal lens mount, and it is the full-frame Canon EF mount, which lets you put it onto full-frame Canon to Sony adapters. So the adapter that I'm using here is the Sigma MC-11. I've used this adapter with some other lenses. It's relatively good, although with this lens in particular, because it wasn't even designed to be on a full frame adapter, the autofocus doesn't really work. But the benefit with this lens is it's not a really fast lens. It's only f4.5 to 5.6. That means the depth of field is not that. It's bright outside. So you could do a pretty good job pulling your own focus in photo and video. No problem with this lens. So once you've got this adapter on there, all you gotta do is pop it off, put it onto your camera, and boom, you've got the 10-18 Canon APS-C lens on your full-frame Sony camera. Now yes, while this is 10-18 millimeters, at 10 millimeters, you definitely see vignetting, severe vignetting, going around the whole edges of your image. That is because the image circle for this lens was simply not designed to be mounted on full frame. However, the thing is, when you zoom in just a little bit to 14 millimeters, which is still insanely wide, in fact, it's just slightly under 14 millimeters, the vignetting is completely gone, and boom, you've got a 14 millimeter full frame lens for $250. By the way, that's 250 Canadian dollars too. That's not US dollars. If you convert that into US dollars, let me tell you how much I got that lens for. It's 181.24 USD for a 14 millimeter full frame lens. That is, you can't beat that value. Yes, it's not autofocus. Well, the autofocus is iffy. Sometimes it works, but I don't trust it. I'm just gonna full-fledged do manual focus. But you've got some benefits too, because now you could get a creative effect by having this like crazy fisheye vignetting going around your image. It's really cool and it's fun to be creative with. So honestly, I feel like this is such a creative lens investment. It's amazing to even use for real estate photography or something like that to start earning some money, because you get a 14 millimeter lens with such a minimal investment. It's crazy. Now, I may have done a bit of a gamble with this lens, but the first time that I actually put this on my camera and got to try it out in the real world was on a multi-million-dollar luxury listing, which I was shooting. Let's take a look at some of the shots. That's insane. Under 200 US dollars, you get results like that. And you can share it with a client and they will never know. This, since then, has become my secret weapon in real estate photography. So Sony A7R V has a 1.24 times crop when you record in 4K 60. Now that 1.24 times crop kind of sucks. It changes my 17mm lens to 21mm lens. But because this lens lets you actually shoot with something that's beyond what the image circle can actually provide, so you can shoot at 10 millimeters, but you get this whole vignetting around the edge. Now you can zoom out just a little bit and let a bit of that vignetting come in, because we're still cropping the image to get that 60 frames per second. So I found that you can effectively shoot at around like 11 to 12 millimeters. You just basically have to zoom in slowly until you see the vignetting is gone. And when you multiply that crop factor by 11 to 12, you end up at around that 14 millimeter mark. So that means you get to shoot 4K 60 at 14 millimeters with this lens. To me, that's crazy. That's absolutely game changing, because I'm going from 21 millimeters with this lens here every time I have to shoot 4K 60 to 14. The difference in that field of view is insane. Anyways, if you want to do this to your Canon 10-18mm lens, I've got a link in the description so that you can pick up this adapter here. I also have a link in the description for this adapter right here. It probably works with other adapters, and there's probably better ones out there too. The Sigma MC-11 is pretty much something that I've had for years now. It's what I had at hand, so that's why I'm using it with this lens, but there might be other ones that are better. You could do a little bit of searching on Amazon, but I've got the link down there in the description too for this adapter if you want it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing, checking out some of my other videos maybe, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.